Now, had a mishap this morning. So we'll see how everything goes today. There's my old computer over there, and I was signed in as administrator, and I pressed one key, and I destroyed that user. Now, you can't do it from your standpoint, but it shows you the danger of being signed in as an admin user. So it really is a good idea to create a standard user and use that. So you don't do any kind of damage like that.
You destroyed the laptop?
No, I destroyed a user. Yeah. There's everything on the computer is stored in something called a registry. And don't worry about how I went into that, but you shouldn't go into this. I'm a perfect example of that. But every setting on the computer is stored in this one place. And I went into the current user, and under software here, I had created through a programming language an entry here, and I meant to go and delete that entry. But instead of clicking down here and pressing delete, I had this clicked, and I pressed delete. So I deleted every setting for every application I have on that laptop under that user. I could not even get my search bar to work down here.
Can you undelete?
No undelete. I should. And you're supposed to back these up programming-wise before you start messing with it in the first place. I knew better, but I really messed that up bad. So.
Even little teacher can have a bad day.
Yeah, so I think I got most of the things installed, and so my display here will look a little bit different than before because it's a different computer. I had to go grab another laptop and configure it. Okay, now down here again is you should see a file folders, or if you click the little windows, then you should be able to maybe see it here, or very last. In the search bar down here, if you start typing file, you'll see File Explorer. Now there is another technique to go into it, which I'll show here in a little bit.
So we want to get into File Explorer?
File Explorer. We looked at last time in creating folders and so forth. We looked at where we had a couple of files and so forth. Now it can be. We even remember we created a folder for the recipes and did chili and so forth. Sometimes if you're wanting to find something quickly, it's not convenient to put it into this folder and have it drill down and so forth. And I'm going to show you a very easy way. Now down here in your type here to search, click down there and type Word. Yeah. Assuming you have Word on your laptop. And click blank when it comes up. We're going to talk more about what is this exactly, what kind of application is this shortly. And I'm going to type something. Okay. Okay, so I got something typed. Now I'm going to do a save. I do a file save. Doesn't matter what you have typed in, just type in something.
Okay, where do you want us to save it at?
Everybody to that point? Not yet? Okay.
I'm just not getting in the Word.
Now it may look different on your computer. Mine has a file up here. So if I click the file and click save,
What's the difference between save and save as?
save as creates another copy as a different name. And that's a good point. We'll point that out.
What are we doing?
Doing a save. Now this can get confusing, especially if you got different versions of Windows. And I've even seen where it's a little bit configured a little bit different based upon your within the same version Windows, like Windows 10. Like yours probably doesn't look like this, does it?
No.
No. You see how there's a browse button? Whenever I get confused, because this will vary based upon your application, I always look for the browse. Browse takes me where I want to go. So now mine came up real small like this where I couldn't hardly see it.
Are we supposed to be in OneDrive or computer?
We're going in the browse. You don't have a browse?
Yeah, but I'm in the second. I'm in computer first.
That's what you want to go.
And you can go to computer, just as long as you go to the computer, not to OneDrive.
Yeah, I went to OneDrive, so I've got to get back. Okay.
It'd be nice if this was looked the same on every computer.
Yeah.
Because I don't really think this looks the same as what I showed you last week, does it?
Probably not.
I think it's a little bit different.
Mine looks sort of like that, but it doesn't have quite as many folders.
I don't remember there being a Sites here last week. I don't even remember if there was a OneDrive there last week. But anyway, you could either go to this PC or browse. Both of them will pretty much get you to the same place. Now, when this comes up, if it's too small for you to see, you can put your mouse down in the bottom right-hand corner, and it becomes a double arrow. And it's white. If you click and hold down, you can resize that. Now that's in the very bottom right hand corner here. It becomes arrows. When you click and hold down and start moving it, then you can resize it. Now always you have documents here, so you can click the documents and store it there.
I see you have two documents, and so do I. What's the difference? Oh, you got no, you got downloads.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't read it.
So you got two documents?
Guess not.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
You do?
One's a file and one's got something else beside it.
Oh. The folder is one you'd want to go into. The other one is probably just you name something documents, and that's why it's out there.
This PC has a document.
Over here on the left-hand side, if you just click documents,
I've got two documents.
oh, you got two? Let me see.
Yeah, I do too, so we. One's
think
got
the
a
one on the
folder,
right
one's
is
got a
different than-
document.
One is up at the top and the rest is
It looks a lot different than mine. This business is expanded. Oh, I see. That's all it is. It doesn't matter which one.
this one's document, this one.
Yeah, if you have two documents, it doesn't matter which one. Now, the reason why there's two, in case you're wondering, is they have a place up here called Quick Access. And these are places that I've worked with recently. Like this morning, I was installing a bunch of stuff again. And I was creating this programming project. I don't know why music is up here. It's probably there by default. So folders that you've worked with will be up here
Oh, okay.
on the top. And that's really nice, because if you're sitting there saving to the same location over and over, you don't have to sit there and search each time for it. It'll be up there in the quick access.
Wow.
But this, down here where it says this PC, and you see how there's a little arrow next to it? If I click that, like you pointed out, I also see documents down here. They go to the same location. You notice that there's music down here and there's music up here on mine. Same principle. That quick access, just places I've accessed recently, though I haven't done anything with music. So now,
That's good to know.
it's curious. Not all these are. But if I don't want one of these up here, if you right-click on it, you can remove from quick access. Like if I don't do anything with music, which I don't, then I can remove from quick access, and it'll no longer be up there. Videos, I really don't do anything with, so I'll right-click on that, remove from quick access.
What is Mind Tap?
What is what?
Mind Tap?
It's a, it used to be that everybody got textbooks. You had paper copies carried around and so forth. And the publishers are putting everything in what's called ebooks. So that they won't give you paper copies anymore. You go out there and you got access to an electronic book. And so then people look at it on their tablets and they read a book and so forth. MindTap is one of the places that provides that. So. Okay. Now if I have documents clicked, if I just click save, that'll save it in your documents folder. Documents is very easy to find. So it always points to the same location. Now let's say I want to save that as in a different location. Everybody get that saved to documents? If you didn't, holler.
I mean, something on this question.
You can save documents.
Or, that's not giving what I want. I thought you clicked on file, it came up with that.
Not under Explorer. That's just like under Word when you're saving it, is where you'll see that at. But it will be in a different location on your file, which I'll show that here in a second. Go ahead and close that.
Yeah, it's telling me that that's what you're looking at. Okay. Well, I didn't, I just put down here.
And close 4 of those. Close that one. And another one. And let's see how many more is left. Okay, one more. Okay, then go down and put the word down there. Inside. And write document. And then just type something.
Okay, did you hit the same button? I did.
And then you can put the computer there, or you can put the browse down at the bottom. And now if you put the documents there,
See, here's what you documents, I got
Right.
one that's got that.
yeah, and that's quick access up above. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Is it okay if we saved it in a folder in
As long as
the
you know.
documents?
Yeah, that's fine. Did you find the document?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the one there.
As your, yes.
Okay. Good.
Just put it in there.
Did you get it?
Okay. Oh, you're in the file for it. Okay.
Yeah, I got it saved. My favorites, thank you.
Now we're going to save it one more place.
Okay.
So in this case, you were asking about the file save as. And every package has this file save as capability of some sort. If you do a file save as, then I'm going to click the browse here. Because I just want to show it from this standpoint. And you don't see it up here in the quick access, but you see where it says this PC on the left hand side? Go ahead and expand that if it's not already expanded. You just click the arrow next to it. And you should see one there that says desktop. So click the desktop and click save. That will have saved that file to the desktop also. So you got 2 copies of it now. We're going to do one more copy. So do a file, save as, and then do a browse. We have a downloads folder. So click the downloads folder. And then click save.
Under PC or under quick access?
Under PC.
Can I ask what the positive and negative things would be for saving on the desktop?
The probably not a whole lot between document and the desktop. The negative part is that it can become very convoluted with a ton of icons there. And the positive side is it's right there. When you log in, you have your desktop right handy, and you can just start clicking on it. So it's kind of, everybody has a different preference there.
I didn't know if it was harder to back it up if it's on the desktop.
Nah, it just appears as a folder for backup purposes.
So
So.
you would just back up the desktop folder and, okay.
Now,
What do you back up to?
to a flash drive.
To a flash drive?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I
I have one.
got a flash drive here, and you plug it into the side, and I'll show it here in actually a little bit. Let me grab my little Seagate. This is my flash drive. After messing up the computer this morning, I don't mess up my flash drive. This one I have everything backed up on.
Lucky you. So don't hit the wrong button.
Flash drives you can pick up for $10, $5. How much?
$7 or $8.
$7 or $8?
Walmart.
On up.
Uh-huh. Depending on what you want with it.
If you have to ask yourself how important is this to you. I usually don't go cheap on those because everything I'm saving is usually important, and if I lose it, I'll be devastated. Is actually, I don't know if there's this flash drive, but had my flash drive went out on me, and I'd been saving a lot of stuff to the flash drive, and I hadn't backed it up. And one of the things is a book I'm writing about college algebra, And I had about 450 pages done on it with no backup. And I'm sitting here, oh my God, I've lost this, and the prayers came out then. I said, please God, just let me get back the grades I'd actually saved out there in a spreadsheet. Let me get back the book, and I'm happy. And what are the two things you think I got back? The grades and the book. Yeah, so I lost a ton of other information, but I could.
You didn't ask significant enough, did you?
Yeah. So I was very happy that. So again, how important is that information? If you lose that, if they're family photos, that's a big loss, isn't it? I don't usually go cheap. I go cheap in a lot of other areas, but I don't go cheap on the backups. This is a little drive that I got that has a lot of storage on it. So if you're going to do a lot of videos, for example, I would use backup like one of these. And I'll go ahead and plug it in so we get to that point. Okay, so I'm going to close my. Assuming I plug it in. There it goes. I'm going to close my Word. So just click the X in the upper right hand corner. Now I still have File Explorer open here, but if you don't got File Explorer open, click the folder down here, or do one of those other techniques to get File Explorer back. And again, this over here will look exactly like what we just worked with. You notice that there's a quick access up here, so you can access the ones you use a lot. Down here in this PC, there's a little arrow next to it again. You can click that arrow to expand that. And you'll notice the same folders as before. Now you're talking about the benefits of saving the different locations. I saved it on desktop. If I click the desktop here, I see a lot of other files, but I should see the file I saved. And I do. I got Hello Mom here. You notice there's documents over here. If I click documents, I see a lot of other files, but I see my Hello Mom. And I saved it in one other location. I saved it in the downloads. Downloads can become real. I wouldn't recommend saving to the downloads. I had you save it there for a specific reason because I want to talk about what the downloads folder is. But I should see Hello Mom there somewhere. There it is. Now you can sort by these different items by clicking the title up here. So if you click by name, it'll sort by name, ascending or descending depending upon how many times you click it. If you sort by date modified, then you can see which ones you've modified. And that's what I use a lot, is I'll sort by date modified because I want to access the ones I recently worked on. And if I have 500 files in there, it's hard for me to locate them. Now downloads. Anytime you download anything from the internet, it goes out here. So this morning, I downloaded Paint.net, Unity, CodeBlocks, VMware. Everything I downloaded to install, it put out here.
Was Paint.net the one you were saying that does a lot of cool stuff and it's free?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It. If you got a flash drive, I can copy this to your flash drive, and you can just install it when you get home. Then. I'm still not got everything installed, but that's what downloads is. Okay. It's not anything you did. Right click on this, the folder, and choose desktop. Okay. You go ahead and click the rectangle up there, and now you should see the folders. Folders?
That's fine.
See what she has a little different shape. I think, that's cursor.
Oh, yeah, somebody's changed it, so it's bigger so you can see.
Okay,
There it is like that, okay.
You know how to
No, no, it's okay.
When I said it isn't anything you've done, they've configured these PCs somehow such that if you click the File Explorer on some of them, on the laptops, it hangs up like that. So I have had to tell my students in the classes, I say, go down here, right-click, and choose something like desktop or pictures. You shouldn't see that at home. Now, their goal in locking down the computers is that students will not mess up the computers because they figure I have limited knowledge, and so then I'd be calling them saying, hey, I got 5 computers here that need to be redone. So they lock it down so that you can't mess it up. Sometimes in locking it down, it does weird things like that. Now, see that one right there, I'll have to call them at some point. I may not admit I was the one who did it, but I say this computer needs to be redone. I'll see. I'm going to try to fix it myself. There's no way to fix a user. The user's done. But I think I can create a brand new user as the same name and maybe rename that and then, yeah. I'll have to see. Okay. So again, downloads is handy because if you download something off the internet and then it disappears. Anybody ever download something and you're waiting forever for it to download? And then you ever go off to get some coffee, go do something, and come back and it's gone? You're wondering where in the world it went to? Well, it's under the downloads folder. So if you come here, you'll find it. Now what you'll see, at least in Google Chrome, is if I come here and let's see, I downloaded something. What world have I downloaded today? Blender. Let me go to Blender. Don't worry about going to this site. I just want to demonstrate this. It'll be down here while it's downloading.
Okay.
And so you may have saw this little bar up here in the bottom left-hand corner if you use Google Chrome. Every browser is different in this regard. And this is where it'll take forever sometimes. There's one I downloaded today, I think must took 45 minutes. And I went off and did other things. When it finishes, it should stay down here temporarily. But sometimes they disappear. I don't know if you wait long enough and it just disappears from down here or what the occurrence is. And it could be I just close the window after it gets done downloading and I don't even notice it. But again, if you're trying to figure out where it's located at, see how it finished downloading? If you can't figure out where it's at, it went into your downloads folder by default. So like if I close that by accident and say, oh, where was that at? And then I come over here, see downloads. I click date modified to sort by it. And here's the one I just downloaded.
I didn't know about downloads for the longest time.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know where that stuff was going, and I thought, well, it's stupid.
Now, see, I don't know if it's always gone to the downloads because I felt that way after I realized it. Because I would always try to go in the browser and there'd be a location where the downloads went to. And I don't know if they always went to the downloads, I just never noticed. So it's a learning process. It really is. This is also probably not a good place to store files at because if I go to clean up my computer, this is the perfect place to go. Because mostly if you've downloaded it, maybe you don't want it again. And so you can do that. Okay, now I'm going to have you go to blender.org.
Blender with a B?
With a B. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I think the download would be fairly small.
You want me to download it?
We're going to download, but we're going to do something special.
Downloaded?
No.
Go ahead and click the download link at top. You see it's right here. I don't know who that is, but right to the right of her or his face, where it says download. And then, you see there's a different options here for the different types. When you're installing a program at home, you have to know whether you got Windows, Mac, or what. And you'll have Windows, because you got Windows 10. And if you bought your computer recently, you can pretty well bet it's a 64-bit installer. And if I were to go and click this download Blender,
So we're supposed to download?
yeah, go ahead and download. I could have probably chose a smaller one at 80 megabytes, but
It's still downloading?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's spinning there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can see. 40 seconds left.
if you ever watched one of those animated movies like Shrek or things like that, Blender's what they use to create that with, in case you're curious what Blender is. Yeah.
That stuff you see on TV?
Yeah.
My granddaughters loved it.
You could create, they've actually created little mini movies using Blender. It used to be a commercial product, and then the person or the company that was selling it, they decided to go out of business for whatever reason. But they love their product so much, they made it something called open source. And a community of people that still love Blender keep building onto it, and they'll always come up with new versions and very well supported. So everybody's done downloading?
Yes.
Not yet?
What do you have to run this program? An i7?
No, i5 would run it. Yeah. Now, if you right-click this bar down here, if you right-click on it,
On the, what we downloaded, right?
what you downloaded,
Okay.
you'll see there's a show in folder. This is another way, when you've downloaded something, you're not quite sure where it went to. Maybe you went to the downloads folder and you can't find it anywhere. If you're trying to figure out where in the world this silly file went to, sometimes I download it again just so I can do the show in folder. If you right click on it and say show in folder, that'll open up your file explorer and actually show you where it's located at.
So if it doesn't say it's in downloads, if it says it's in this PC, then it didn't go into downloads, did it?
Then it didn't go into downloads. Like if you had a browser that, and all of these have that capability, by the way, so you can right click on it and in some way show the folder. Hopefully I'm not lying to you about Windows 7. It's been a while.
I know it should. It's, unless I got something.
Okay, right. Or,
Yeah,
there you go, show in folder.
It isn't.
click,
Oh, it doesn't?
click on it.
It might still be downloading.
Well,
It
no.
says open when done.
I think this is still downloading.
It's still downloading even though it's not showing it. There it is.
Not right, no,
Oh,
show in folder.
there. Okay. Wonderful. Just be a little bit more patient. There it is, right
Will that be
there.
enough free space for you to depend on?
Whatever that is.
I don't know what to say.
Oh, free space, 78.5 gigs.
Oh, yeah, it's a small program. Now, at this point, mine says it's in downloads. You can see it on the top there. Like I said, it's never a good idea to store anything in downloads, because if you run out of memory, run out of disk space on your computer, downloads is a perfect one to go clean up in, because you have huge files there sometimes. if you want to store this off, and I'll go ahead and have you copy it somewhere. We've looked at where you can edit copy and edit paste and so forth. You can also, this is a little bit more dangerous. Sometimes you can drop it in the wrong place, but you can click with your left mouse button on that file and hold down and drag it over the left, and you can drop it somewhere. Like if I lit up now, it'll put it in pictures.
What are the pictures?
That's fine.
Drag it over there.
I'm gonna clean up all these laptops this summer, so it's like,
My laptop.
oh, that's yours. Just as long as you remember to delete it later.
Huh?
Just as long as you delete it later, so it doesn't consume memory. But you can put in pictures.
I may want to use it.
May want to.
I guess, I don't know, you said it was a good program.
Everybody move it somewhere? Now, I said it's a little bit dangerous because if you drop it in the wrong folder, you won't have no clue where it's at. You know, like if I meant to drop it in downloads, but I dropped it in pictures by mistake, if I'm looking in, downloads is where I was at. But if I dropped it in my installation files, and when I meant to drop it in pictures or vice versa, then I have to look for it. But if I go to pictures now and click that, I see I have that file there. So again, anything that goes to your downloads folder, you want to put it into an appropriate folder so you can then save it off. So
Okay, where is, you say you have it there? There it is right there. I
Get it?
don't know what it does.
Yeah.
Is this something I want to keep on my folder? Like here?
nah, I wouldn't think you do much with the Blender. It's just to let me show you real quick.
What if you want this, like say, your favorite, or save your favorite, or like on the older computers?
On older computers.
Well, like 7 and some of those, you know, you can bookmark your favorites.
Oh, on a browser. Oh, we'll go over that. But the Blender is an animation package. Like if I have this cube here, that cube is there by default. I press I, choose location, rotation, scale, wherever it's at. There it is. I move it along a timeline. Move it up here, do an I, location, rotation, scale. Move it along a timeline. Move it down to here. I, location, rotation, scale, E, and obviously they're not going to hire me to create the next Shrek movie. I don't suppose they've created those a long time. But that's what it does. It creates an animation.
Oh,
Can they draw in it, or do they have to draw in something else and then animate it in this?
They can draw on it, and they can animate it. You can put bones in it. It's really, it's a very powerful package.
It looks like something my granddaughters would have fun with.
Yeah, it is a fun package. Yeah.
What
'Cause,
package did you have, and what did you put on there?
this was Blender that installed it.
When I click on Blender, it says your PC settings only let it install verified apps from the store. Does that mean I don't have an app that it was on?
I don't know. Let me think about that. Actually, if you send me an email on that, just a message through Facebook or through my email, I'll give you my card if you don't have one at the end. Then I'll find out the answer for that. I knew the answer back in August. So I had a student came in. She had bought her new laptop down at Windows, and the only program she could install were the ones off that that store you were mentioning. And so the new Windows are locked down to where you can't install those external ones. And I figured it out for her, but I don't remember.
Well, underneath it says still want to install apps from outside the store. Then it says you can open the settings.
Yeah, maybe that's where it's at then. I don't remember.
Just open the settings and it'll let you do it.
Right, it'll probably let you mark to install it from an external source. If you don't see it there, then let me know and I'll do some digging and yeah, I remember that. I remember her. Okay, so again, you can drag and drop. Some people like that better, because then they don't have to right-click on it, do an edit copy, go to their location, do an edit paste. If I want to drop this image here, I can just move it to wherever I want. I'm not sure if I actually copied it. Let's try that again. Move to desktop. There it went. You can also do that with folders. Sometimes I get going real fast, and I grab a folder by accident and drag and drop it in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating. Now, up here, you see a bar up here that says this PC and pictures. Over here on the side, you see this PC. If I just click this PC, you should see that change to this PC.
Okay.
If you're trying to locate a file, we'll start this, but then we'll cancel it because it'll take too long. Up here in this bar in the upper right hand corner where it says search this PC, I can start typing like Blender, and it's going to go through and search my entire PC looking for anything that I have that says Blender.
Huh.
It found something on my D drive. My D drive is that backup drive that I plugged in.
That's something else.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you just remember a little bit of what your file name's called, you can still find it. There's other more advanced searches you can do also, but that's about all I ever really do with the basic ones.
Wow. I'm still finding a whole bunch.
Yeah, and if you got a lot of files on your PC, when you go and do this, it may be 15, 20 minutes before it comes back. So, but then again, if you're trying to find that file, and this is a really good way to do that.
How do you do more advanced searches?
Up here, across the top, you see Home, Share, View, and Search. If you click the Search, then these are some other options you can do.
I don't have it.
Now, is that in 7.2? Because I've never used anything that looks quite like that.
I don't think so. I think that was one of the user-friendly things they added in. Before, you'd have to know the wildcards that went with it.
Right.
But yeah, see this? You can search by kind. Like if I want to search by a video, by a movie, by email, document.
He doesn't have search.
No, I got 2013, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I think this is brand new where they made this more user-friendly. You can search by size. So you can tell it, okay, I just want to search the gigantic files. Why do you think you'd want to do that?
They, clean them.
To clean them. You've filled up your laptop and it's getting ready to crash. It's giving you memory errors or something like that. That way you can locate the really big files so you can delete them. And now you want to make sure what you're deleting is something you should be deleting. You know, it's like file you put out there you don't want anymore.
I got it under the search, and I got it under the kind, and what if I was looking for an Excel file? I wanted the extension, to use that extension. I don't see a place to put in, like, the extension.
I'm going to close the search here.
Okay,
And to search for an extension, you come up with this blank here again,
okay,
and you do asterisk, that's above your 8, dot XLS,
okay.
and mine, I did find some.
I don't have search tool now.
Is there a way to do like a partial name and a wild card and then an extension?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do you do that?
Like I got some files called, I don't know what these are, MSOLRM. There's 3 of them here that I can see. If I can click the X up here to cancel a search. And if I type ms asterisk dot xls, it should find everything that starts with ms. Maybe. Famous last words.
Yeah, that's where I put it.
Maybe it's wrong. Well, there it is.
Okay, you got, so I didn't get anything, but if that works, then I can try that.
Yeah, that means that anything starts with ms and then has an asterisk up to the dot. And the dot XLS then will put that on there.
Well, I have the asterisk XLS, and I've got a whole bunch of documents.
Right.
The chapter has something to do with it's on my computer.
Having done what you talked about, accidentally saving something in the wrong place, I've had to hunt sometimes.
Yeah. And if you have to open up every folder manually, it's a nightmare.
Yes.
Even if nothing else, and I wouldn't do this because it'd take forever. I mean, I'll start it because it doesn't hurt. If in this search blank, and you don't see that search blank if you still have this down, you have to click the close search here.
That's what I did.
So if you have that closed, then you can see the search blank up here. If you put asterisk dot asterisk,
Oh,
this will find everything on your PC.
Oh, no.
yeah.
And mine's already up to 76,000 items. 105,000 items. It's in the bottom left-hand corner here.
All right, how do you get that one?
I did asterisk dot asterisk.
You have to get out of
No,
that. You have to
yeah,
get your
yeah.
ass first.
I never thought about trying that.
Asterisk, dot, asterisk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Be-
and I need to get that.
If you got an old PC, you go walk off, take a break for about 15, 20 minutes, an hour, come back, and hopefully it's done.
Wow.
My recovery thing is about filled up.
You're right.
This says recovery.
Oh, that's fine.
Already got
I'll put my
6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000.
Well, I've got 179.
It should be filled up, the recovery.
All right,
Do you want to put paint on that?
I'm up here in the...
Later.
This asterisk dot asterisk is for what now?
That searches all of your files on your hard drive.
Okay, I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Click this PC,
Wonder how that.
and then up here in the search bar, type asterisk dot asterisk. And that's about the 8. Hopefully, I guess you just use an asterisk that finds everything in it.
Oh,
And see how it's going through?
oh, I see. Okay.
Asterisk dot
I
asterisk.
think I've
Search
got
all
too
of
many
your
files
files
on
on
my
the
computer. I know, I'm still going.
Well, my-
76,000.
I think 240, 50. So what do you got?
Yeah, mine's already up to 250,000 items.
Yeah,
That's why it'd take you forever to search through those, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, you see the view up here? If you click that view, there's different searches here, or different views, I should say.
Yeah.
You can choose details. So again, I click the view up here,
Okay,
and I'm choosing details.
where's the depot right there? Okay.
Now, you may not see the, sometimes they just have the pictures here, and I hate that. I like the words, because otherwise I have to click on each one to see which one I want. But we want the details.
Okay.
When you're sorting photographs, the large and extra large icons are pretty cool to look.
That is true.
Photos.
Now, mine's still going off. I got 328,000 items. But if I click the date modified, and sometimes you have to click this twice, and it may not work exactly because we're not actually done with our search. But if you click the date modified, it'll sort by the date modified. Now, like I say, I'm not sure how successful this will be because we're still going off finding our 1,000,000 items. But if your program is done, what that'll do is search it, So then your newest files will be at the top. You may have to click it twice to get the newest ones at the top. But if you create something last week and you're sitting there, where in the world did I put it? Worst case, you can do a search on everything with asterisk dot asterisk, click the date modified once or twice, and you'll be able to see your most recent files at the top. Well, it's not going to work quite right because we're not waiting until it's all done, but let me show you something that should work on your computers. Over here, click Pictures.
In this
Pictures
PC.
on PC or quick access?
Either one. Either one.
Okay.
Now, you should have some pictures out there. I don't, because I redid my PC this morning.
No, I just have the same as you.
Oh, do you? Oh.
Oh, now, wait a minute, there's something in the same pictures file.
I guess I should put the stipulation that students have been using yours. Hopefully, there's nothing inappropriate in the pictures. I never thought about that. But, if I come up here in the search blank here and I put an asterisk, and you can put the asterisk dot asterisk if you want, then it'll search everything in that folder.
Okay,
Now, if you go up to your view and you choose your details,
Ooh,
now if you click that date, you can sort it by that date.
okay.
wow.
And you'll be able to see it a lot better because we actually have files that have been returned. Does everybody get that? I mentioned this last time. On that programming class, I named them all like Project 1, Project 2, Project 3. And sometimes I want to know the most recent ones. And when they're numbered like that, I can tell. But sometimes I just give them weird names. And so sorting by that date will allow you to see your most recent files. Now you see up here in your quick access,
Yeah.
we got some different items up here, don't we? Do you have videos up there?
No.
No? Yeah, it may have videos down here. If I right-click videos, you see there's different items here, but specifically there's one that says pin to quick access.
I got it, oh, yeah.
If I click the pin to quick access, then you'll see it up here in the quick access.
Ooh.
Now you might be sitting there wondering, well, you just had me remove it 10 minutes ago. We took it away from quick access. This just shows you if you have any folder you want to have up there always in the quick access, that's how you can do that. And specifically, you see up here there's a little push pin next to it. This means that it's going to stay there from here on.
Tell me again how to get the videos back into quick access.
Down here under this PC, right-click on the videos, and you'll see a pin to quick access icon or choice.
Thank you.
Now you see these ones here that don't have the little push pin? Those will drop off. As I work with other folders, it'll replace those. So the push pin is what allows those to stay.
So it only keeps 4 at a time, basically.
Well,
3 at a time.
you see how there's if I right click on this, there's an unpin from quick access. You
So
can,
this is a little bit like the Windows 7 favorites, maybe.
for files, yes. Yeah, you can get rid of these by unpinning them like that.
So if you have a external drive like you had there,
Mm-hmm.
can do the same thing on that then? Pin it to the quick access?
You know, I never have tried. Let's try. CIS software is where I install all the software from for the classes. So let me right click on this and pin the quick access. Sure enough. Now I've
Even though it's on your
even though it's on it,
it's still up there.
right.
Wow. Okay.
Now I've used that quite a bit. I just didn't know if you could pin it. But oftentimes when I'm grading, it'll be up in quick access, and so you can very quickly get to it. That way you don't have to remember, well, it's under here, then you have to go into here, and then you have to go into under these other ones, and so forth. Okay, now I'm going to borrow your flash drive.
Okay. I think there's enough room.
I hope I don't destroy it.
I'm trying to remember what's on it. I looked, but see if there's enough room.
I'm pretty sure I'll be fine with it. What am I doing wrong with the flash drive? You can't help it, but
You're carrying it without protection on the end.
yeah, that's one thing I could. Yeah, there's lots of different things. You ever have a desktop where you plug it into the front? I had one of those, and yeah, I had it plugged in, and then I dropped a book. And that book came down there, bent my flash drive, and actually destroyed the little plug in there. Worst thing in the world to have those in the front. I don't use the ones in the front anymore after that. You have a certain amount of static electricity that goes with your body, and that shortens the lifespan on electronics. So me walking across carpeting, created some static discharge into this. You have to be careful on this. Don't take your flash drive. Don't put your laptop on your microwave at home. Something that has a magnetic source to it. May not destroy your laptop or this, but it'll lower the lifespan of it. So it won't last as long. So things to keep in mind. I freak out when my wife starts bringing the vacuum in my room. I say, "What are you doing? You're going to destroy my computer." So she tries to avoid it, at least when I'm there.
Because of the static electricity on the carpet?
No, because the magnetic discharge. I'm not very good at physics, but whatever the vacuum does, it creates a magnetic. And so if you're going to be vacuuming right next to your desktop, it's not good.
So the fact that I have actually vacuumed off my laptop's probably not good?
Well, if you use one of those the cables, you're fine. Now, if you're actually you had your laptop there like that, that's probably not real good. But
No, it was the long cord.
yeah, you're fine there.
Okay. It gets dusty and it seems to help the keyboard.
Now, personally, I really don't care myself because I like to buy a new computer every year or two at home. So the fact that I lower the life of it, I don't care. But if you want your laptop, your computer to last 10 years, yeah, you got to be careful on that then. So
Well, it says that this one isn't working
the what?
right. This message that come up that saying it's not working right, then whatever you were doing.
It's the USB drive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it didn't recognize it.
It's in there.
Okay, I don't know. When you plug in a flash drive, it will automatically put it there as an entry. And so now I want to copy a file, and that was a question somebody had. How do you copy a file from a flash drive? And it's just like another folder. So that's what you view it as. Now I'm going to come up here to my quick access, and I'm going to go to my downloads, and I'm copying the Paint, right? Okay. So
At the bottom. Where's that?
let's see, I got two of them here. Paint.net 4.1.6 install and Paint.net 4.16 install. You see the file type over here, so one of them says file folder. This one is something called a zip file. And this is the one I want. It says compress, zipped, zip folder. I don't want to copy the folder. I could, but I'll let her, unzip it at home and so forth.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna take this one. I could drag and drop it on here, and the fact that it's on two different locations, it won't actually move it. It copies it, I believe. But even if it did copy it, I wouldn't mind. Okay, so I'll drag that and drop that on here. You want it just in the main folder?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you notice when I put my mouse over that, it expanded her flash drive. She has 4 folders called 1-22, 3-26, 4-23, and 5. No, she's got another one also. But I'll let up on that. And I just copied that over to her flash drive. And if I click that, you see how there's a paint.net 4.1.6 install. Just for your own information, when you get home, if you right click on this, you'll see an extract all.
Okay.
And after you do that, it'll create a folder with all those files. And then you just double click the install. And if you have any trouble, just let me know. I know. That's what I do. Okay, now her flash drive is here. And I can see it under this PC. If I do the little up arrow here, I see one looks like a flash drive. And you see how if I right click on it, you see there's an eject ultra. This is the safe way to eject a flash drive. So again, what I did is I clicked this, I got to here, and I right clicked on it and chose eject.
What happens if you don't do that?
99.9% of the time, you're fine. The other 0.1% of the time, it'll corrupt your flash drive. It's just a very rare occurrence. If you don't eject it, then it does that.
Now, if you were switching between one flash drive to another one, it's there, and then you take that out and put another one in, is that gonna create a problem? And then take it out and put the other one back in?
Nope.
Okay.
No, just at very rare times when, like I say, it corrupts your flash drive.
Thank you.
Be my luck.
And sometimes
Report next week on the year rare cut.
He's not here next week.
now I'm always on my flash drive really careful to try to eject it properly whenever I go to a computer because I don't want to corrupt my flash drive. Doesn't happen a whole lot. You hear about it once in a blue moon. It's more likely if you have a file open, it'll corrupt the file than anything. To corrupt your entire flash drive is very rare.
So this is where you put your flash drive in, you can see what's used and not used.
Right.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You click on something and you right click and it says run as administrator. What's that mean?
Some things, like if you signed in as a standard user, you can't really mess up your computer too bad. I could have still messed up my laptop like I did this morning. Nothing would have got around that with what I did. Besides thinking before I pressed the delete. But if you're running as an administrator and you go to a bad website, it can run that executable and infect your computer automatically. Otherwise, it has to be run as an administrator for it to actually run.
So that's not a good thing to do.
If you know what it is, it's fine. Like if it's a program you know it's fine, you can just right click on it. They got something called a torrent sites. You ever hear that word, torrent?
Oh, yeah. T-O-R-N.
I'm not sure if it has 2 R's or 1 R. Torrent sites. There's also something called dark web. I received another ransomware this week.
Oh, did you?
I should have printed that off and shown it to you. Again, claiming I was doing something on webcam that was very inappropriate, and it's just like, no. But they had my password. They had my password from Yahoo, and so that puts emphasis on it. They say, "Hey, we've hacked in. We got your password." It's an old password, and I knew about the break-in at Yahoo, so I wasn't really upset about it or anything. They said that they had the weirdest things in that email, but I was supposed to pay them again. The dark web is where you find that information. There's special browsers you go to in the dark web where you can purchase 10,000 people's passwords from the Yahoo hack. And so you send emails to all of them. Most of them ignore you, but there's 100 of them that send you $900. Take 900 times 100, and all of a sudden you got some pretty good money you just made by doing it. It's illegal, by the way. If you receive a ransomware, they tell you to report it to FBI, but I figured they wouldn't actually research it, and I'd probably end up having to sit in an interview with an FBI agent or something. Those are never pleasant. And don't get me wrong, we had one person here that gave my name as a reference, and the FBI agent came and talked to me. And he was very nice, very cordial. He's asking about the person and so forth. But it's just very intimidating to talk to the FBI. I don't do things like that.
I have done that.
Yeah, isn't that intimidating? It's not like you're under even investigation. Just.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Was?
The job.
Oh.
You have to have an FBI
Yeah.
check, and yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine actually being under investigation. I'd reveal everything, and I wouldn't be good. It's like I did it, and just the stress of
But basically, you go through your application, and then they go, we found this, explain, and you go, where did you find that?
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing connected to you, but I thought it was. Yeah.
See, I think I've been scarred for life. I think I'm on lists with the government and everything else. I probably would never apply for those. This was 25 years ago. I was teaching for Butler on the base. And if you've ever been through McConnell, you go through there, you get a pass and so forth. Well, this was after 9/11 had occurred. And they had closed the base completely. They even closed Rock Road, if some of you remember. And we had our classes at Rose Hill High School. When they opened it back up, they would greet you with the automatic weapons. That's always a little bit intimidating, and they were always running like those special mirrors or whatever they have, so they could see if there's bombs underneath your truck. And one time they did a chemical test on my truck, and it tested positive for explosives. Oh God, I'm done. I'll be in federal lockup by nightfall, and here's this guy with the automatic weapon, and I just tested positive for explosives, and he could tell I'm kind of freaking out, and so forth. And he said, "No, have you hauled manure?" Like, "No, I haven't hauled any manure, and I haven't done anything. I'm just go home and watch TV. I don't do anything." And later on, I thought about it. I'd haul the turf from Cramner's grass. So I bought that, and I think so. From then on, I made sure that that vehicle was really clean, and I went through the checkpoint anymore. But like I say, I'm assuming I'm on some kind of list now with the government, though. Tested positive for explosives.
Well, tried walking through, getting off the plane, and then there are guards with the bayonets above your head as you walk through that.
Where's that at?
I was coming in from Budapest into Frankfurt, and they threw the highest alert, and I'm trying to get home, and the U.S. government threw the high alert a couple of years later, and so I had to go through. I had to go through that, and then I had to take everything off with indecency, and wanted padded X-ray. And everything. We all got 450 of us got into this room. They took us out 4 times. The plane was 2 hours late getting off. The last thing they handed us was a notification of Mexican. And we had to had that filled out before we got it. because they had a report that there was a bomb on the plane.
Yeah, I'm flying next month to Vegas. I don't gamble, but my stepson wanted to go out and take pictures of the sights and so forth, and I'm flying, and it freaks me out because I hate going through detectors. Because no matter what, in Wichita, whenever I'd go to the libraries, I'd set off the detectors. And one time I was leaving the library and I went off the detectors, and the person said, looking all around, seeing what books I've stolen, and one time I had shorts on, a t-shirt, and I went to one of those branch libraries in Wichita, and it went off as I went out, and this lady just acted like she's going to do a strip search. It's just like, I don't have anything you can see. But I don't set off the ones in Derby, but those detectors just freak me out.
So what you got, meat?
No, I don't know why they went off, to be honest. Because I know they will. So I like empty everything out whenever I go to the library. So I have like my keys and wallet, and that's about it. Maybe I even left my wallet there and took the library card in with me, just because I know I'll send them off. Hasn't happened at the airport, but I'm still worried about it.
Or take the shoes off,
Yeah.
and they're X-rated,
Torrent sites will have free programs out there. You can go out there and get Office for free. You can get Adobe Photoshop for free. You can get everything for free. Students use that a lot. A lot of them are full of viruses, though. So if you see something where it's talking about a torrent and it's a free, nothing's free. Some of them have viruses and so forth, so steer away from those. Dark web is full of those too. Now the sharper students, they know how to identify the malware and so forth. I always figure I'm not smart enough to identify it. Plus, everything I use is for work purposes, and using illegal software is a sure way to get fired. So don't do that. It's just like, and I don't do anything on the computer just for fun. So, but yeah, you've heard of dark web, I'm sure, on a lot of commercials. You get a special browser to go to it, and they say you can buy drugs out there. I don't understand that. I suppose you have it shipped to a P.O. box.
The dog waiting for you.
Yeah, I keep thinking I'll get brave someday, and I'll take one of these old computers I bought, and I don't care that it gets corrupted with virus and so forth, and I'll go out there just so I can even understand what that commercial is even referring to, because I never have been to the dark web. Okay. Now I got this PC, and then if you expand that, you see the Windows C drive there. If you right-click on that Windows C drive, you see there's a Properties option.
Yeah.
So choose Properties. This will tell you various information. One of them will tell you is use space and free space. So this says I have use space. I've used 122 gigabyte, and I got 829 gigabyte left. If this gets down to probably 100 megabyte, that's where maybe you should panic and start cleaning up files. If it gets too low, then Windows won't be able to operate. But if it says 100 MB, then that's probably where you really need to start worrying. If you see anything with a GB, then you're fine disk space-wise.
Can
But
you
MB
tell
is
me how
what?
you got to that point again?
Once you expand this PC, and you see your C drive there, if you right-click on it, then there'll be a Properties. So right-click on C drive, and you'll see Properties.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
GB is okay, but MB not?
Yeah, it gets down to MB. That's when you probably should clean up.
What's MB?
It stands for megabyte.
Oh,
Gigabyte is just a huge amount of data.
but GB and MB are two different things.
Right. GB is more.
Oh,
Now, mine shows disk cleanup, what happens there?
If you get desperate, I wouldn't do this unless you get desperate. If you get desperate, go try. You could try to do a disk cleanup, see what would happen with it. There's also some tools under here. Tools for helping you to optimize your computer. You probably don't need to do these at all. You see this hardware. Tells you a little bit about the hardware. Security, you probably don't have. Because if you're the only user at home and it's not networked, you probably won't have much here, if anything. Previous versions, quota. Okay. General is probably most useful there. Now you can also, that was right clicking on C drive. You can also click this PC, and you see over here it says 829 gigabyte free of 952 gigabyte. So that tells you the memory space there too. It even gives you a visual. So if your little blue bar is all the way over here on C drive, that's very bad. D drive, it's okay if it's like a restore. You were asking about your D drive, how it looked like it's filled up. That's if you need to reinstall your everything from scratch, like from when you first got your laptop. It has the restore out there, and so that's what those files are for, and so that it's always full. Now I really don't understand why I don't have a restore on this, because if I screw this up, then I'll have to again go to IT and say, hey, I need you to restore it, and they'll have to do that. But oftentimes there's a restore volume there.
Well, I clicked right and it says restore previous versions.
That's where you can go back to a previous version of the operating system, previous version of software, and so forth. And I'll show you more about that here in a second. But now this PC, if I right-click on it, it also has properties. This is probably a little bit more useful. So again, I right-clicked on this PC. I was talking earlier that you probably have a 64-bit laptop if you bought it recently. This will tell you. See how it says system type? Mine says 64-bit. If yours says 32-bit, then you know that's what you have.
Mine was 64, I was surprised.
Oh, is it?
Good.
Yeah. Now, where that's beneficial is if you're trying to install a program off the internet and ask you if you got a 64-bit or 32-bit, and you don't know what in the world you have, that's how you determine it.
Wow.
This also tells me I have an i7. Let's say you go down to, not that the flea market's open anymore in Wichita, but they have it in Century 2 every now and then, I think. You go down there, you're looking at a laptop. And you ask the person, was it an i5, i7? Because you remember from the class that I said i7's good. And they said, I don't know, it's a computer. If you come here, you right-click on this PC, you can see the processor. If it says i3, you probably don't want it. I would not buy a computer now that didn't have at least say i5.
I've got AMD.
AMD's not bad, but you have to know a little bit about which model to have on it. And I don't know enough about AMD to even tell you what's the good ones.
Okay.
Also installed memory. See how this has 16 gigabyte? That's good. That's excellent. A lot of them they sell now has 4 gigabyte, and this is RAM. This is when you run a program, how much it can keep in the current memory. This is something when you shut off your computer, it loses the RAM. So it's just for running applications, temporary storage. Your hard drive is where it stores it for long term, for permanent.
So RAM is hard storage.
A RAM is your temporary. Your hard drive is your a permanent storage, like
So-
C drive and.
What would you recommend having as a kind of a minimum?
I would think 8. If I was going to buy a new computer and I was going to do word processing, Excel, and browser, I'd say 8 is what I'd want.
8 at least, or?
8, yeah.
That one has 16, that's a lot faster.
Right.
Mine has 4, it just,
It's slow, isn't it? Yeah.
You can have a lot more windows open if you got more RAM.
You can. I love RAM, and that's laptops are a little bit different because you don't have as much flexibility. But if you have an old desktop at home, and it's maybe not that old, but it seems like it's running really slow, oftentimes you can upgrade the memory on that, and you just get incredible performance gains. RAM is, I think, is one of the more important pieces.
How do you update your memory?
You
go down to the memory store and buy some and have them put it in.
That's the best way. So what they do is there's screws in the back of the case here, and they take the case off, and they take these memory sticks and they push it in the slot, push it up, they're done. They charge you $50, and you don't know it took them a total of 30 seconds, after they got the screws off, to put the memory in. Now there is like this room here. When I saw it, I thought this was a real pretty room, but they didn't ask me about it. Carpeting's the worst thing you can have in the world to work on computers because it builds up that static discharge. But it looks pretty. So they know how to ground themselves so they don't fry your computer. So, that's a risk. You're sitting there doing it at home and you don't have yourself grounded properly, you can do damage to your computer.
So the computer room, no carpet.
If you're doing work on a computer, like working inside, it should never have carpeting. If you go to somebody that says they repair PCs and it's their own personal business, and you walk in, and you see they have carpeting down, I would walk back out. They don't know what they're doing. Our old hardware guy at IFR, where I worked, he hated carpeting with a passion. When they finally yanked the carpeting out of his area, he was just as happy as could be, because he knew what that did. You'd be shocked at how seriously they take that too. They built spectrum analyzers at IFR, and on the production floor, the people that worked had to wear these blue coats, anti-static coats. And they also had a band on their wrist where they ground themselves to something that's plugged in properly, and if you walked in their area without the blue coat on, or if your blue coat was open, they came right over and said, you need to get out of here, or if you had one of those, you need to button that up. They were right on you. So couldn't tell you how much it shortens the lifespan of electronics, but it's something they take quite serious.
Where's IFR?
Oh, they're where Cessna is?
Yep.
They're out that way. They were sold to Aeroflex. I think they're now owned by Viavi. So good place to work. It was fun.
What all do they do?
Mainly spectrum analyzers, test equipment for electronics. So, but yeah, that's what I have to before August. I have to get some way to have people grounded when they're working on these. Otherwise, we'll have failure after failure of the hard drives. Was 16 weeks of rubbing your feet on carpeting and working on the inside of those. It'll fry them.
So they'll be you teaching kids how to work on these?
Yes. So. Now, there's a lot of information here. That's probably the most useful. If you talk with somebody at support, they'll probably have you go in and get some additional information. I'm guessing the support information probably brings up a lot of detail. How to free up disk space. They might direct you here. How to go into that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm going to click the X on that. By the way, that is in the control panel. Control panel, system, and security and system. Okay, I've about done as much damage as I can do in the File Explorer. There's other items in there, but those are probably the most important ones. Now, I don't know how this will work, But there is a type here to search. There's a Cortana, if I'm saying that right, feature. You see there's a little microphone here. I'm going to click that.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you talk. I need your permission to help.
Sure. Try showtimes for movies at Regal Meridian 16. Meridian? And it'll go off and find that.
Wow.
Open WordPad. I guess I have to click it again. Open WordPad.
Okay, opening WordPad.
And so it'll open that. I'm going to click the microphone again and open Word.
According to itstillworks.com, open the OpenOffice document
I didn't
document
want
in
that.
Microsoft Word.
Open Word.
Okay, which Word do you want to open? Word 2016, WordPad, or Word?
Word 2016.
All right, opening Word 2016.
Anyway, if you want to play that, turn your microphone on and have it open something.
I don't see where it is.
Down in the search, right to the right of it, you should be a little microphone.
Now I do. Yeah, thank you.
Not the fully joined.
So in order for me to do this, I have to make this person more familiar with the way I talk.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the
Yeah.
way you talk. I need your permission to help.
Then you just click sure or whatever that button says. And so, and I don't know how robust it is, whether it's like that, I don't got an iPhone. Maybe I got an iPhone, Siri or whatever. But
I don't know, but it wanted to look up that movie thing that you just got done saying.
see, I pronounced the word wrong, so that might be something you could pronounce something wrong, and something would come up you don't want to come up. So it's just like I don't use it, but that feature is there. Okay, now I'm going to go into a browser. So here's Google Chrome. So if you got Google Chrome, bring it up. If you just got the little E, then click it. Now E stands for different things. Used to stand for Internet Explorer, and now they got Microsoft Edge on computers. So both of them are kind of E, and depend upon how you look at it. If you go to a web page and you like a web page, you were asking about like a bookmarks earlier. Very easy. On Google Chrome, up here in this upper right hand corner, see there's a star? And I click that star, and then it'll ask me to name my bookmark. I can give it a different name if I want, and then I click done. And that's how you save off a bookmark. Now if I'm over here and I go to this Regal Meridian 16 showtimes, and let's say I like this, you see up here they also have a star. They call it something a little bit different. This says it's a favorites, where this one referred to it as a bookmark. And all of them have this feature. If you just put your mouse over the items up here in the upper right hand corner, you'll find some place to bookmark it, to favorite it, if that's a word. So if I click that favorite, I can again type in whatever name I want and then click add.
How can you tell whether whether this computer has Edge or Explorer? I don't see that it says. Which this one is.
Good question.
Once you bookmark a page, where do you find it later?
hold on. Let me,
Should be right there.
used to be. It used to always be an about. Oh, well, this one's Microsoft Edge. That doesn't answer your question, though. But I have Microsoft Edge option there. No. I don't use IE or Edge enough to really know. Now, in response to your question, how can you see them now? On this Microsoft Edge here, right to the right of the star, you see a star with like 3 lines on it, or 2 lines.
Yeah.
If you click that, that brings up your favorites that you've favorited. And then you just click on this and it'll go to that page.
Chrome doesn't do that.
Chrome does something a little bit different. And there might be an easier way to do this than what I do. But I come over here and I click these 3 little dots. And then there's bookmarks. And then you'll see your bookmarks here.
Okay.
Seems like a really convoluted way to get to your bookmarks. Like I say, it might be an easier way. At home, I got so many bookmarks, I go to the bookmark manager because I've just got like 500 websites bookmarked, and to go through all 500 would be very tedious. So it allows you to do searches on it. Everybody locate their bookmark manager?
There it is, right there. Okay.
And like I say, all of them have that feature.
In your bookmarks, can you make folders?
Yes. Like if I go to the bookmark manager, I thought I could right click on it. There it is. You right click over here. So like if I click on whichever one, and I right click in the white space over here, the gray space, there's an add new folder. And so then I could say this will be for all my programming related. I'll right click on it, add new folder, math related. And that becomes important if you're like me and you got 500 bookmarks. There's no way you can find anything. Only by going to the bookmark manager can I actually search through and try to even halfway find it. So organizing it is critical. Now I'm pretty sure Microsoft Edge, I never have played with it, but it's kind of a feature all of them have. Let me go over here, go to my favorites, and I'm gonna, what's this? Create new folder. Microsoft Edge has a button here for create new folder.
Where's it at?
It's this one that looks like a page with, actually looks like a file folder with a plus.
Yeah.
And now I can type programming info.
Looks like you might even be able to pin something. There's that push pin up there. I don't know.
That's if, like I think if I try to go over here and click Shazam or something. Click Shazam. See how it went away? But if I want that to always be there, so I can easily refer to it, then if I click this pin, that'll stay now, and so I can go wherever here. And see how that's still there?
See, how did you create a new folder?
Over here, I click this button right here. And when you click that,
Right or left?
oh, left. Left.
Okay.
You're saying as far as you know, Edge doesn't
But it
listen
doesn't
into you,
give
but
a new-
Google does,
new folder.
Correct.
as far as.
As far as I know. Not that Google admitted that at first either. Let's see, does Microsoft Edge listen to you? Yeah, maybe Cortana ever listens to you. How to restrict Cortana's ever-present listening.
What's Cortana? Is it a different?
That's who you're talking
Yeah, like that microphone we did down here. You can enable Cortana so it, easily brings things up. Okay, I'm gonna unpin that. So close that. Now this is what's called a browser. And that accesses the internet. Popular browsers that you hear of is Edge. That's Microsoft's new one. There's Internet Explorer. There's Firefox. I was going to say Fox Pro. No, that's not right. That's from way back. Then Chrome. Although there are other ones. But those are the four big ones you hear about. You got word processing packages. And this allows document creation. So allows document creation. As in papers. So if you're writing a paper, so forth. And but really the big one there is Word. And there's Google Docs. There are other ones that are available. Word is not free, so you have to buy it. Google Docs is free, so you can access it on the internet. It has pretty much everything I would ever want to do in Word anyway, and allows you to even save it into a Word document format. You have spreadsheets. This allows budgets, some small accounting. And a big one there is Excel, and Google is competing with Google Sheets. Then they got other categories of documents or of applications that are running on your PC, but those are probably the main ones you would actually run across. Now there's some free ones out there. Like if you have a type that likes to tinker, there's a website, osalt.com. And this is free software. It's not actually OSALT. It's OS Alternatives. The OS stands for Open Source Alternatives. Now, if I go to this osalt.com, over here they start off with the top 10 open source. Open source means free. A little bit more than that, they actually provide the source code too, but you can think of it as free. And here's OpenOffice, Draw, FreeCAD, StartML, so forth. Let's say I was wanting to find an equivalent to a package. Like I don't want to buy Photoshop. It's too expensive. So I can type in Photoshop up here in the upper right hand corner. See where it says Find Alternatives? And press enter on that. Now the red ones here are the ones you have to buy. The green ones are the free ones. There's one called GIMP Shop. So if you want to have a photo editing, but you don't want to pay the $500 that Photoshop will cost you, here's a free one. Now I've used GIMP Shop. It's not bad. Let me show you what it looks like. Photoshop features. It's a free alternative to Photoshop. I thought there'd be some screenshots. Here's professional grade photo enhancement. So if you're big into photos, completely free. You can download it home, install it, and anything you find on this website, you can assume is safe. So there's nothing unsafe out here. Of course, something's always unsafe, so keep that in mind. I talked about infecting that computer, didn't I, in here? Going to National Geographic's. Yeah, that going to the National Geographic website, and there's an article about hauling the ice from Antarctica to take to the Middle East, since the water shortage is so horrible out there. And it had that link on that webpage that infected that computer. So, I had to put that stipulation on there. Don't know what these other ones are, but the red ones are the pay for ones.
What's the blue ones then?
Blue ones.
Well, I'm on a different side, but anyway.
I don't know what the blue ones are on this.
Okay.
Over here, if I want to play games, if I click games, it'll come up here and it'll say these are the top free ones: Pingus, Geist, Flight Gear. I don't even know what these are.
What about business?
If I go to business,
If you went to Internet Exploring, would that teach somebody how to do it too? Now let's go back to business.
okay, so I'm at business here.
Okay.
And Nevernote, Red Notebook. I'm guessing this probably takes notes for you and organizes them. Let's see. Yeah, so if you want to keep track of your notes, I have little Post-its. I get my password here on the Post-it. I need to change it because otherwise I lose this Post-it. It'll be gone. But you can put items out here to keep track of your notes. And this is free again. And this was cloning Evernote, which is not free. Anyway, that's open source. Now, if you go to Google Apps, like if I go to google.com, and I'm right here. You may have to create a user ID. And if you click up here, you create a user ID. As a general rule, when you create a user ID, never give real information. Make up your birth date. Don't ever give your address out unless somebody's shipping you something like you've ordered off of Amazon. If they ask you for your address and you're not expecting them to ship you anything, make up an address. Everything can be hacked into. Yahoo was hacked into. Millions of email addresses and their passwords were taken. So people getting ransomware demands right and left. So make up information. But you create an account on Google. And if you go to google.com, you see how there's these 9 squares up here? Mm-hmm. This is Google Apps. And it's just right on the page for google.com. Like I say, if you don't have a Google account, you probably can't see this. But if you click that, here's all the free programs you can use. So you got email that you can use, contacts, photos, YouTube, so all the different items you can go. Maps is kind of fun. I'm going to click Maps myself. I was going to buy I was going to bid on some houses here in Wellington. There's some auctions. They all went too high. I'm too cheap. But there was one on Lincoln that I was going to buy. So I I first went out and looked at the pictures, and then I went out and looked at it on the internet. Now, if you don't have a Google account, you can just simply type maps.google.com up here. So go ahead and type that. How many of you have been to Street View?
Anywhere?
Street View? It's probably one of the neatest things on the internet, to be honest. If I type an address in, I wish I could remember those addresses, those houses. But let me do 301 South Olive. Olive was one of the streets that had, here's a 301 South Olive Street. Hopefully I'm not picking your house out.
Probably, I remember which, those houses, and they're in the,
Was it north?
yeah, it's north.
North.
And it's probably 200 blocks.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
North
You can
Olive.
see them from the viaduct every time I go over the viaduct.
Yeah, there was a pink one that went way too high. Plus, I wasn't sure if it didn't have asbestos siding. But I typed in 201 North Olive Street, Wellington, Kansas. When you start typing in, you can then pick it, because I think it recognizes your location, because Google Chrome knows everything about you. It knows where you're at. And so that's why Wellington appears at the top. You should get here. Now, if you click this picture up here, you see that view there. And over here, it comes up with this. And I can click with my left mouse button and rotate the view. This doesn't look like the block I was looking at. These houses look too nice.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll go back here. I think that's back toward the main road. What you do is you put your mouse over here and it becomes an arrow. Kind of hard to see, but if you click there, it's like you're driving down the road.
Yeah, way too high. Well, I don't know where in the world, because this would be that street. I'm not very familiar with Wellington, but this would have been the street, and I swear this.
Harvey, where that one, go back to the left. Marla.
Is that
That's
Harvey?
Harvey, right there. Because I recognize that building that's
Oh.
over to the left that you can't see yet. So you're down to Harvey.
Yeah, there was a house. There was one of those houses on Harvey. The cheapest one went for $1650, and I decided I wasn't going to bid that high. Especially when I researched and looked at it, I had to pay $5,000 for a roof.
You were looking for a house to live through?
I was looking for a house to just tinker with so I could learn. You know, because it's been a long time since I've done any kind of remodeling.
Well, I just sold one Friday, so
Oh, really?
I'd known it.
There's several houses around for sale, so you can
Oh, there's a
surely,
lot of them,
yeah,
Did everybody get Street View at some point?
yeah.
yeah. Do what?
I think it's a big one.
Let's see. This is, I think this is the coolest thing on the internet. You put that image there. Server error. Oh, that's great. Click refresh.
This is a really old street view.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some are horrible.
2007.
How do you know
They click that
that?
button.
Oh, up there?
Down here
Yeah,
in
side
Shades.
slope right there.
Right. Well, I would have said it was even older than that, but
Well, I wasn't even living there at that time. I don't know what that truck's doing out there.
Well, I have something else there, so what do you do?
Server error.
We had it re-roofed since then. And all those trees cut down.
Type, well, I'll search for a different location. I don't know if it is all of us are hitting it once, why some of you are getting server errors. I don't travel very much. I don't like to travel. If I click this back here, up here you can, instead of typing this address, you can delete what's there. And I wonder if I could spell it. Anchorage, Alaska. And it comes up with this view right here.
It says it's mostly sunny.
Oh, does it?
37
Yeah,
degrees.
37 degrees. That's kind of chilly.
That's warm to them.
Now, if I start using my mouse wheel is that red button in the middle of your mouse, and I start scrolling in, it will drill down into that. It's kind of like an interactive map. Is that working, or is anybody still getting a server error?
I got out of it.
Did you? Now, although I might have a hard time finding it or clicking on it, down in the bottom right-hand corner there, see how there's a little orange person?
Yeah,
If you put your mouse over it and it goes to the side, and you click that and drag it, you can drop little person somewhere on here. Yeah, I probably didn't drop it in the right place. Let me try it again. Drop it right there.
Wouldn't let me drop them.
oh, that's how you get to that.
Yeah, you can't drop it everywhere. So, and I haven't figured out how picky it is. But if you drag and drop it, some places you can drag it and drop it, some you can't.
What does it do if you get no drop there?
If it lets you drop it there, it'll zoom in on that particular neighborhood.
Oh, okay. I did actually. It didn't want to let me drop him out in the water.
Yeah, it won't do water. Like if you're trying to drop it on a field, it won't let you do that. It has to be like a valid place where the street view is taking pictures. Now these are the car that goes around and takes pictures of all the neighborhoods. And so I went up to Alaska one day and I had a lot of fun. Because I got out of the town and I started going all around the countryside. And so again, you just keep clicking down the street.
So how did you get it to move down the street?
If you move it, you'll see a little arrow there.
Okay.
Now it's funny. A lot of people like to travel out of the country and so forth. I went to Japan one day, and their cities look a lot like ours. Until I got out of the city I was in, and then it started having those Japanese style houses, you see in movies, like James Bond movies. Okay, but let's say I'm tired of Alaska. I go back here. This isn't every country. You can't go to North Korea. But if I were to type Japan and press enter, takes me over to Japan here. And I start using my mouse wheel to zoom in. And I'm going to go to Yamanashi, whatever that is. Assuming that's a town.
I went to Australia.
Went to Australia? Yeah. It's fun just to go to other countries, I think. I don't know if I can drop it here, but let me see. I'll try to grab my little orange person, drag it somewhere here. And I'm now in Japan. And if I start going through here,
Wow.
to me that doesn't look much different than Arkansas.
Amen. That's so different.
Yeah, some small houses there, so forth. Man, I don't know if anybody lives in them. But the road's pretty narrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's just fun. When I get bored, Sometimes I just visit other countries. Not everybody in Japan's, I guess, living in those pagoda type houses. See, this, I can't click here because this is not something that Google Street View is taking a picture of.
2014 view there.
Yeah. Boy, their images, they're kind of skew. I don't know what you do if you meet somebody. Maybe it is one-way road.
Maybe they have smaller cars overall than we do.
Maybe. Not everybody's driving. Maybe it was mainly bicycles. I don't know.
Are we gonna have time to show me how to do a group
Sure.
email?
Oh, my
In Google Mail?
No?
In Google?
Good. I don't care what, I just gotta.
Let's see if I can remember how to do it.
I have people in mind. I use SUTV.com. I can do whatever you can set up.
Then mine won't match yours. Let me, after, I'll come over here in just a minute and I'll look and I'll show you how to do it on yours then.
Okay, sounds good.
Because what I'll show you in Google Mail wouldn't match yours at all then. So, what other questions are there? I got a card here, and you're welcome to email me if you're wondering how to do something. Email me, say how do you do this? I'll create a little YouTube video and send it back to you. So that's open from now till I'm gone.
Thank you.
And that's fine, because what I do is, each time I cover something in the computer, I learn myself.
Thank you.
So it's make my skills
I
increase.
wish we were coming back next door to learn something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
This is, David, the farm.
We
that
wish
my
we were coming back next week to learn
great-grandparents-
something else.
My great-grandfather.
Yeah.
Lived in. And then,
I would say just come in, I'll show you something, but probably Google the Golden Tigers coordinator chew my butt. I don't know how that works.
You've taught stuff I didn't even know I wanted to know, so that's cool.
There's a lot of fun stuff on the internet like that. I love Google Street View. That's just best thing ever, I think. But we are going to offer something during the summertime. So I just need to contact her because I finally figured out where my schedule is going to be this summer. So we'll be having Golden Tigers during the summer. I don't remember which months they said were banned for Golden Tigers. Anybody remember?
May and August.
May and August. Okay.
So it'll be June and July.
Yeah. So there'll be something. If you have something in particular, because they don't dictate it to me, I tell them. So what would you like to see?
That's the $64,000 question.
Yeah.
I'd do Word and Excel. Probably,
Or cloud.
yeah. How to do cloud storage, Facebook,
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. Roots Magic, but you said you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is of all those, is there anything in particular?
Well, I'd like to know more about cloud. Isn't that where you store stuff in
Mm-hmm.
case you can go somewhere and get it?
Right. Yeah, we could do Google because they include the cloud and then throw in the docs and sheets, and you can see how to create documents on the internet, and so that wouldn't be bad. Or Microsoft has its own version, OneDrive, if you'd like to do that instead. Either one. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and schedule because we should probably be able to do 2 classes during the summertime with 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks in June and July. I don't know how many weeks are in there, but I'll take a look at that, and definitely you could do 2. And I'll contact her and see about getting those set up.
I would be interested in Word and Excel, and I don't know if any anybody else would be interested in a Photoshop type of
Oh,
program, Paint Shop or Photoshop Elements or the program you downloaded for me.
okay. Yeah, those are kind of fun. So,
You said the paint.net, you can tweak photos in, right?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do real interesting stuff in that package. Yeah, see, it has pretty much all the stuff Photoshop has, I think. All the interesting stuff. I don't know where I dropped the Pink Panther at.
Can you,
There it is.
like if you need to de-skew a photo, can you de-skew a photo in it?
Maybe. What do you mean by deskew?
Oh, let's say you're taking a picture of a photograph or something that's at a slant. So
Oh,
you want to, not just straight, yeah,
yeah, you can rotate.
not rotate, that's a whole different thing. If it's,
Correct it, in other words.
yeah, let me see if
Drawing
I,
it up.
let me open up the program I have here. Maybe. I don't know why my computer went to sleep, but,
Do you mean like, you don't mean like flip it like that, right?
maybe.
Yeah, how do you do that?
It does allow that, yeah.
That might be what I'm asking about.
There's a panning.
The one that I have won't do that.
Zooming. I don't know. There's a lot of different things with the. It has, you can make black and white. Just the brightness and contrast. The black and white isn't good.
What's that, Paint Shop?
This is Paint.net. It's a free package. GIMP Shop does similar items. Sepia, whatever that is. But yeah, that wouldn't be a bad thing to have either. But come, except for the banned months, to the summer and then come September, I plan to just have one every Wednesday. So if they'll schedule that, I don't know what their plans are. So I just enjoy doing this stuff. So, but I'll go ahead and save off that recording.